transportable to next year when I rebuild the tree and make it 12 volt instead of 5.
Well, I switch between the bullets and the strips, the 2812Bs and the 2811s. So the problem is that the one is RGB and one is
BRG, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
But my controller doesn't know how to handle that. I can't switch it.
Oh, well, see, I can. But
Yep.
that lot that I bought from the guy up in Minneapolis, he had 2 Joshua 12s, a bunch of pixel extenders, power injectors, the tree, just a whole box full of bullets and those those oblong modules that the star's made out of, and a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot box full of these little domes, and I don't know where he got them. They got 6 LEDs in there, tricolor LEDs powered by 1 chip, and a little round dome that's about, I want to say, 1.5 inches in diameter. And holy cow, is that sucker bright!
Huh.
So I'm going to string those, attach those to some 1x2s, and then hang them from the gutter edge to do the eave with, because they're really insanely bright.
Okay. So anyway, the problem I ran into was my arches are using the 2812s, and so they're RGB, or actually they're just the opposite, the BRG. And so John Chulo, which I think he's helped you out a few times too.
Yep.
A little sparring on some of the stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, that's okay. He's like that. You see the recording light on there?
Yep.
So we have to behave. But
sort of.
Kevin, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going all right. It's raining here right now, so I can't really go out and work on the lights.
Oh.
So I'm pretty much set up.
I got about 3/4 of mine up. I did it because it was beautiful here last weekend, and then we got rain.
Mine's in a plastic tub in the garage.
Talk about plastic tubs. I posted, and I don't know if maybe you guys saw it or not. I put 2 60 amp power supplies in a standard tote, the type that you could put like 10 reams of paper in.
Mm-hmm.
And it works beautiful. No holes, no air holes, nothing. It's like just sealed up, and just the holes that the wires go into.
Yeah, I was planning on taking a tub and turning it upside down and putting it on the ground, and then mounting the stuff on the bottom of that, and then setting another tote over the top of it, which will raise it up. So if we get snow melt, it keeps it above the melt line.
Sure. I was worried about mice and stuff, something chewing on stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that except put it in a steel cage.
Right. Well, at least this way I didn't have any openings. So it should, hopefully the wires are going to take up the whole holes that I have set up.
Oh, they'll gnaw right into anything.
Yeah, they will, but it's like, well.
And I got the idea, the outer tote, I'm going to spray paint up, and instead of trying to hide it, I'm going to decorate it. I'm going to turn it into a present. I figure out I'll spray paint the thing bright red or bright green or white and put a bow on it and set it underneath the tree like it's a present underneath the tree.
Wow, okay.
If you can't hide it, decorate it.
Nobody knows what it is.
Right? I mean, we'll know what it is, but somebody else, they'll just think it's a prop.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I liked about extending the cables is my controller sits inside. I don't have to worry about weather, rain, snow, nothing. I'm looking at it right now. So I run the wires. I have a couple of like French doors that go into my family room. And I decided underneath the door, as long as they don't use the doors per se,
right?
I'm not going to damage the wires. But I'm running some of my cables 85 feet from the house, and they're working beautiful. It's like,
Now, you provide power outside?
yes.
Okay.
I have, well, I'm running with 3 power supplies. 2 of them are outside, one's inside, because the one inside is running the controller, and I have a 3-foot by 8-foot grid, which is a 24 by 10 grid.
Gotcha.
And so that's supplying power for that. And that's only a 40 amp power supply. So it's barely taxing it.
So those those extenders that you're using only extend data. They're not used. You're not writing power over those.
I am not.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is off of the controller, I'm using the power off of that. It drives the transmitter chip. The transmitter chip sends the signal, the single wire signal, and it puts it over a twisted pair of wires over the cable.
President Bush's return to the White House today from Camp David.
Still at work?
Not me.
Okay.
I think somebody got their TV turned on in the background.
Okay. Anyway, so what I do is I use 4 wires out of the 8, except for the last cable that I made. I'm running 2 signals off over it, so 2 twisted pair, so 2 chips, 2 transmitter chips, 2 receiver chips, and so 2 twisted pair. That's the signal, and then 1 twisted pair for the positive negative.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's running the stars that I just hooked up. And this is where I wish I had a better controller, because each star is 150 pixels. So I have 450 pixels there.
Wow.
Well, if I had a better controller, I could run them all off of one output.
Right.
So instead I had one cable that I had to run a double signal over.
And then you just used a splitter at the other end
No, I have 2 outputs.
for the same star?
Well, I run 2 stars together, so one feeds the second one. So one output is 300 pixels, and the other one is 150.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So 2 outputs, and obviously it's transparent because of Vixen just is outputting it as 3 universes anyhow.
Right.
Then I have I'm assuming that you probably saw the Johnson family Christmas video, or one of them.
I actually watched his first 2 or 3 tutorials that he had made, I think last year.
Okay.
And he's kind of the one that, hey, I can do that.
Okay. Well, do you know how
I seen one of these displays about 2 years ago down in Florida when we were down there for Christmas.
Okay.
And the grandkids really loved it. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm a programmer. Why can't I do this?
I do programming too.
So,
Are you all set up, Roger? You said
I
about
am
3/4?
3/4.
Yeah.
I have I say it's a palm tree, but it's kind of like a PVC pipe, a 10-foot PVC pipe, and then it like an umbrella over it. And the only thing that stopped me is I have to go and put 2 more strips together and then throw some silicone on it. I just haven't had time to do it.
Yeah.
And
I've just got to do one final test. I did a pixel test last night, and at that time everything was good. I've tested my incandescence. I just haven't run a full show, a full sequence yet on it. But they were all my test sequences work.
Well, whenever I get motivated here this evening, I'll turn my phone on and I'll walk out and I'll give you guys an idea of what I have.
nice.
But it's pretty nice. The problem I have is I have to make another cable, so I have the length. I have a spotlight that I want to still add, and then I have to add my I call it my palm tree, but I don't have a data line for that or the spotlight. So I'm going to make myself a cable with the dual signal on there, and then I freeze up 2 single cables, and that's going to give me my spotlight. And my spotlight, just in case you don't know what it is like one of those halogen work lights that you would have, and it has 99 2812Bs on them, the strips
Okay.
in there, and so that gives me a spotlight for the house. So instead of having a single like 10-watt one, this is just something because I had them just laying in the drawer. So it's like Menards had it on sale for like $5 for the fixture. So it's like, and I bought it for like $2.50 for a couple meters of 60 pixel strips. So it's like it was dirt cheap. So I have that already built. I've tested it. Everything's fine. It's just a matter of getting it out there. And
Did you read that whole spiel of mine on Do-It-Yourself Christmas about that problem I had?
what was that?
I had I hooked up all my lights, and I have a long run of Pixa bulbs, which to me isn't a long run, but it's 349 pixels in a row going around my roof, and I've lit them up, and the last 75 or so were flickering. So I was like, okay, well, let me try to figure out what's going on. So I lit up the last 75 by themselves, full white, changing colors, and the problem went away. So I was thinking, it's a power injection issue. So I spent better part of a day trying different things with power injection, which ended up being kind of weird anyway, because I was getting 8 volts, which should have been enough to drive those pixels.
Yeah.
I only need 5. And before putting another controller up on the roof, I just a last ditch effort went out, and I have a jump from one roof to another that's probably, I don't know, a 20-foot piece of cat cable.
Okay.
And I went and grabbed one of Rob G's little null pixel boards and soldered that in, and son of a gun if that wasn't it.
Really?
Yeah, evidently on that jump, it was it was degrading the signal just enough to where by the time it got around the other side, the signal was just so bad it wasn't repeating.
Yeah, I have a problem with one of my segments at the end, and I don't know if I have a bad pixel because sometimes it works, sometimes it isn't. But mine's modular enough that I can actually just detach it, move it to another place, and see if the problem moves.
Right.
And that's nice about, when you can actually move a section where if it's like well, obviously you're not going up on your roof because, well, you could rent that lift again.
Yeah. This section I would have been okay. I could have worked on it. This section was on the edge, on the front. So.
Oh, okay. But like all of mine right now is on the ground. And one of the things I want to still add to my display, in addition to what I have, is I have a bunch of milk jugs in the basement. I want to put some pixels in there and move and do them. But then for me to do it, I kind of checked out the brightness, and it's going to take 2 pixels per milk jug. And so that means now I'm going to have to cut every 2 and add like a foot or so of wire. So it's like soldering.
Right.
It's just time consuming,
I don't have any fingertips right now from soldering.
I know. So
I know the feeling.
So I'm kind of like, so I have the time, obviously. Christmas is a little ways off, so I can still do this, but it's on the back.
Closer than you think.
Well, I got to work Saturday, but I have Sunday, Monday off. So I'm hoping to finish up a lot of the stuff that I want to get done. Of course, I should be working on that tonight, but it's like, I don't know. I'm just sitting here talking instead. It's like,
Well, there's only 3 weekends before Christmas.
right. But right now, most of it up, the most impressive part of it is there already. The part that I have to do, there's not that I really want. If I don't put the spotlight out until a week or two from now, I don't think it's going to be that drastic. My palm tree part, I do want to have up because it's going to. Everything is at ground level right now, and this is going to give a little bit of height because it's going to go up 10 feet high. So it's going to give the display some height.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning the spotlight. I totally forgot those. Now I got to find some XLR connectors locally. I got 330-watt floods and a 100-watt flood.
I'm going to step away here for a minute, and then I'm going to bring my phone outside and show you what I have. So I'll be away for just a few minutes here. So enjoy.
David.
Yeah.
How are you? How's your setup going?
I got most of it. I got just three more parts of the display to do. I got the spiral done finally, but I haven't done the mega tree yet. So I got to do that, and I think I'm going to replace all the lights on the mega tree this year. So I got a couple cases of lights to replace them with. So
Right.
that'll be a little bit of work. So I'm hoping to get that done this Saturday.
You already got the pixel arches up and everything?
No, I didn't get a chance to get the pixel arches done. I have the tubing. I have the pixels, the pixel strip. I just need to marry them all together. So, but I don't even have them sequenced yet, man. So,
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, I have it for this, I have it this year, and I will get them together. Once my show gets started, I'll get them together, and I'll start playing with them. And then, maybe hopefully by the end of the season, I'll be able to put them out and see what they're going to do,
Right.
And then I'll sequence them really for next year.
I'm stressing as usual. I did a pixel, like I said, I did a pixel test last night, and everything was working the way it should as of last night.
And don't that feel good?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen if I go out there right now, but last night it was working beautifully. So
yeah, this little bit of rain we're getting.
Yeah, well, we had that heavy rain a couple of weeks ago, and my pixels were out then, so hopefully that's a good sign. But I've got to, I've got, it's always stressful when you have an event, scheduled where people are coming.
Yep.
I was
got everything out now?
Yeah. So
you're just in testing phase, really.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just in testing phase now, and
Gotcha.
so I feel like my stress level would be half what it is if I was just turning the lights on tomorrow with no expectations.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be Christmas if 57 people didn't see me all stressed out running around like a chicken with my head cut off because something wasn't right.
I don't know why is that, man? It's like every time you do one of these,
I don't know. It's usually something dumb too.
Yeah, like the stupid speakers. Oh goodness. But yeah, man, I'm getting real close. It won't take me too much longer to finish my stuff. I mean, the mega tree is the last, the big thing. But the arches, I don't have the arches out yet. But those take like 20 minutes to do. They're easy.
What'd you use for your arches?
I've just got the what is that, 3/4 inch the PVC conduit, 16 feet long, and then they're all wrapped with just clear incandescents.
Oh, okay. So you did a wrap style rather than the HDPE tubing with stuff inside?
Yeah. So this year I actually have our 3 RGB strips, and I have the HDPE tubing. I got the 1-inch PEX tubing, 100 feet long or whatever it is, and I'm gonna cut it up, and put it in there. Because I like the 1-inch, and the 1-inch I can get locally. I looked at the what's it, Matt Johnson's. He did 2-inch, I think, and some others have done 1.5-inch. I don't know. To me, it doesn't look as good to me.
Hey, can I interrupt you for a second?
But yeah.
Kevin, what's the ID for the meeting so I can punch it on my phone real quick?
Oh, yeah.
175 801 909. It's in the top of the Zoom window on your computer. It should be if you're there.
175.
801 909.
Oh, there I am.
There you are.
All right. Let's flip the camera. Here.
Anyway, so yeah, I was just saying that. So I just went with the one. So I have it, and I have it unspooled in the backyard. Stuff comes in a spool, and man, is it hard to get that stuff straight now. So I thought it might be fairly easy. I bought a little 10-foot section to play around with, and I thought it was pretty flexible, much like a standard PVC pipe. You can bend it, and it kind of springs back, which is great. But when you buy it in a coil, it's pretty hard to unravel that stuff. So I got it wrapped around my gazebo out back right now.
Where did you end up getting it, David?
At Home Depot.
Okay. And was it expensive per arch? What do you got into it?
Well, I haven't figured that out yet. It's $70 for 100 feet.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I'm gonna do, the pixel strips 16 and a half feet long. So I'll probably add about 6 inches on each end.
Okay. So you got about $10 and
yeah. Maybe a 12 or something.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Nah.
So your arches are going to be 16 feet long?
Yeah. I'm doing, the ones I have now are 16 feet long. So they stand up about 5 feet off the ground, I guess. And they're 12 foot between. So I do full arch. Yeah, I don't have the little arches. So I was going to look at doing that, instead of the smaller arches. I like the bigger arches, I think. But now I've got enough tubing to do a fourth one, I think. So. Anyway.
I was thinking about making smaller ones because I have a fairly small yard, so I can't pack too much stuff in there.
Gotcha.
Get along the sidewalk as a barrier.
Mm-hmm. Right.
To keep people from walking in.
Yeah. I've got like a candy cane display that is right along my edge sidewalk. But
Jeff, I think Jeff's the one that's showing the display and stuff. If you want to talk, Jeff, just let us know what we're looking at. I think on your.
Oh, that's not Roger?
No.
That's Roger.
Oh, is that Roger? Okay.
Roger said he was going to be on his phone.
Yeah, that's Roger.
Yeah.
So, Roger, on your phone, you can, I think in the bottom, there you go.
There we go.
It was just hiding.
Ooh, pretty blue.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now, can you see that full screen or not? Or not?
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So we have that, and then we come over here.
Aha! The old Matt Johnson entrance thing. Yeah.
Okay. So back up a little bit here, and this is the part up there that you can see. That's the part that's not done yet.
Dude, that looks like a cross. You can't have a cross in your display.
Well,
Yeah, we can't have a cross in the Christmas display.
We're going to have to bleep that out.
but that's okay because I have a white sheet over my head, so it's okay. I didn't
So
say
politically incorrect.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Actually, you really can't see, but there's pixels going all the way up. It's just a frame.
That's right. That's the thing you were showing us before. It's like a palm tree, right?
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
in addition to that,
You're going to run Jimmy Buffett's Christmas in the Caribbean with that?
what's that?
Jimmy Buffett's Christmas in the Caribbean song?
Okay, so we'll see when these light up. You'll get to see what these look like. Sure. Now I come over by the stars, and they're going to be off for a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, those look good.
What'd you make those?
Do you make those yourself, wireframe?
Get a little bit away so you can kind of see. And those are 150 pixels each. So those are 30 per meter. That's 5 meters worth.
Nice.
And then, of course, I have my little pixel trees.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some of those for next year. I like those.
Yeah, I'm thinking that myself. And those are tomato cages? Is that what
Yeah,
you
they are. I
There's a
got these
large.
from Aldi's. They're actually nice red coated, so it's.
Yeah, I like what Matt Johnson did, but I just don't have the time and effort and energy to put into welding and all that stuff.
Yeah, I liked his snowflakes too, and I was like, man, that's a lot of time.
That snowflake is awesome. He did.
So it's like you see those going along with the display back there.
Yeah. Man, you got a lot of yard, man.
Well, that's how far you can see the street light.
Yeah, that's way. You got a huge yard.
You got about like 3 times my yard.
Yeah.
I'll go from the street so you can see what people from the street will see.
Without getting hit?
Yeah, don't get hit now. Oh, yeah.
My neighbors over there, so it's like.
Yeah, see those low arches, that's what I was looking at doing right along the sidewalk like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you broadcast on a tune station, Roger?
I don't, because the speed limit's 30 past my house and people do 40, so they won't hear it. So why waste the money?
Because nobody stopped for your.
And they slow down.
They slow down. Oh, man, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's go.
Well, there's a school right across the street from me, and so I catch traffic coming out of the school.
Right.
So you see the reason for it coming out? Because that'll be right there. And once that's lit up, I wanted that to just kind of bend around it.
That is cool.
Yeah, that would look nice.
And then this, of course, just has. It's 3 meters of strip on each arch.
Now, is that PEX tubing?
This is just PVC pipe, and I just have zip tied strips to it.
Oh, to the outside of it. Ah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, let's
You guys
go.
were talking about welding. I got a flyer this last week. Northern Tools has those little flux welders on sale for $125, and they got a $20 off coupon for orders $100 or more. So you can get into a little cheapy welder for about $100.
From Harbor Freight?
No, from Northern Tool.
Oh, Northern Tool. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was figuring I'd run down, pick one of those up next week, because I'd like to put a little spot weld here and there, like on the pipes for the mega tree to keep the fittings from unscrewing. It'd be nice to just pop a 2 or 3 spot welds on that to keep it from coming loose in the wind.
All right, everybody. I think John's going to share his desktop real quick. He's trying to set up a Falcon. I'm going to help him real quick as soon as he shares his screen. All right, John, point to the string that you're trying to set this null pixel on. Okay, so let me pull up chat. So is it 100 pixel string and then you've got 12? How many total are on that output? $123 nodes total. Okay, so is it 112 and then where is the null going to be? What number pixel on that 123? Okay. All right. So you do, let's say you do 100 like you have it with 0 nulls, and then you total. I want to use 100
So the
for.
nulls are leading, right?
Yeah, hold on.
Well, he looks like he's wanting to put a null
Okay.
pixel between every
So-
other live pixel.
Yeah, so
Right.
then you would put 1 where that 12 is, and then 1 in the null. Okay, and that would give you 1 null before that pixel, and then 1. So it would give you 100 lit pixels, 1 null pixel, 1 pixel.
Right, because the nulls lead the pixels.
Right.
That's kind of weird to think about, but that's
So you're wanting to do that for the remainder of the 23, John?
so now you just keep adding more strings.
Yeah, you'd have to keep doing what you're doing. You can add as many virtual channels as you want. Just keep doing what you're doing until you get 23.
That's what's awesome about this Falcon controller, man. That's cool.
This is what I'm looking at for next year.
Yeah, me too.
I've got it, and I love it. I'm glad I got in on that last sale. Do you understand what I'm saying, John? I mean, what you have there is right. So, yes, null is always before the start channel. So what you would look at is start channel 2000, in channel 2299, 22. Right, you've got that right. You got that right. Yep, just like that. Just keep cloning 23 times, and you'll have exactly what you want. Or adding. If you keep adding, it'll do it.
Yeah, because it's figuring that out for you. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Each time you add a string, it already knows.
There you go. Yep, there you go. That should do
Look at
what
that.
you're asking.
Man, that is cool.
Just hammer that 23 times and you're done. Nice.
Remember to push save before you leave that page.
Yep, that's right. That's really nice. I didn't know it had that feature.
Yeah, man. I had some extra pixels on all of my windows, and that's how I set my windows up. I just knocked those 2 pixels out.
Yeah, I mean, I use the null pixels, on the J1 Sys controller, but you don't have this kind of flexibility. You've only got like 4 per universe or something like that.
Well, yeah, four definitions per output.
No, you get there's more than 4. There's 1 per universe, I think. There's 4 universes per port, and you can have 4 string configs per universe.
Yeah.
For A, B, C, and D, I think.
So 16. I think it's 16 per port. You can configure something like that. But that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the Cadillac right now.
Yeah, man, that's really nice.
It's not to say that next year that's, one of the other SANS devices or J1 Sys won't come out with something that's comparable, but they have some catching.
It's really just the software, right? The hardware is.
Yeah, the hardware's the same. Well, I think the Falcon.
You got a little bit of processor. That thing's got a processor that's different.
Yeah, the Falcon's heavier on the processor, and that's kind of what because that's what's holding the other ones back is because you can only put so many instructions on those processors, and they ramped it up on the Falcon and are able to do a little more.
Yep.
Which is good for us because that makes people change their hardware.
Yeah. Now, when do they usually put those sales out? Like you were talking about, you got into one.
I want to say the last one I got into was, beginning of November, and that was the absolute last one that David was going to run. And then I think they're going to open it up again January, February timeframe, maybe March, somewhere in that timeframe. But, I don't know if they'll actually have it in the next release because what David said was whatever board they pre-sell at the beginning of the year, they won't change the board for the rest of the year just so people don't feel like they've lost out on something. So I think the one change they were going to make was they were going to add an Ethernet port, and it would act as a bridge. So you could connect your switch to the Falcon and then run from the Falcon to your E682, and it would just act as a bridge for your switch.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, so
you don't have to have a hub or something, right?
Right. You can
pass through network.
Pass through. Yep.
Yeah, that way you could daisy chain it and you could get all the way out in your yard on only one run.
One run. Yep.
That's fabulous.
And I asked him when I bought my board, I asked him about it, and he said that there would be might be an add-on for the current boards to be able to upgrade it.
But that's the V3 he was talking about, right?
Yeah, that's the V3 he was talking about.
And that's not going to be, he's not going to do that until the beginning of the year, right?
Right.
Okay.
There won't be any more pre-sales to the beginning of the year.
Right. Yeah,
So
I
I
might
don't
just
know,
hold out.
I'm just thinking for next year, Halloween, and then following Christmas.
I knocked out every one of my USB dongles with that one board. So I've got Lure, Renard, and all my pixels running off of that Falcon board, with the exception of my Pixel Tree. It's got an E682, and my arches, because of where they're at in their GECE, it's running with my E6804. But everything else is run on that Falcon,
Nice.
which was nice. So I don't have to worry about USB dongles.
So you're running all your lore on DMX mode
Yep.
with one of the outputs off of that thing?
Yep. I'm using all 4 outputs on it.
Okay. So you're not daisy chaining the controllers, or you do have some?
Well, no, because the Lure box is sitting in my garage, and it really feeds only what's connected to the house.
Right.
And it makes more sense to put the Renard boards out in the yard. But I guess I could run, if I got low on ports and I had to add something, I could run a cable from my Lure box out to the Renard and run it, alongside. But that's just not what I did. I just wanted to keep it separate to make it easy.
Yeah, right. Yep. Cool.
But I'm excited for it. That thing's sweet.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll be amazed to see what X-Lights comes out with in the next 6 to 8 months.
Oh man, I'm sure they're going to be learning a lot.
Yeah, that software it's hard to believe it's still in beta.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of hard to compete against free.
Well, it's not just free. I mean, without those guys being passionate about what they do, it wouldn't be where it is today. We're lucky to have the people who are involved in it are passionate about it, and that includes the Falcon team as well for their, for the pop player and all that stuff. So, I mean, those guys are really making it nice for us right now.
And I'm going to look into the Falcon player and Pi for next year instead of dedicating a PC for this.
And I can't discount Vixen. It's just that I don't use Vixen, so I'm sure those guys are mean the same thing to people that use it. And HLS, I use HLS.
I played with HLS a little bit. It's got some cool features, but everyone says that Vixen 3 was a harder learning curve. I thought it was easier myself. So that's what I'm using. One of the things I'd like to try doing is importing Gladiator stuff into Vixen 3, and I haven't had a whole lot of time to play with it, but I'd like to. I know last year I did that with a T1000S controller, and it did beautiful on my Matrix. And I'd love to add that to the show this year.
You can always import that stuff in X-Lights.
And, some of the rotating stuff that you have with that, it looks really cool. So you were talking about that new Falcon board, the version 3. So is there anything else that's going to be added there except for that pass-through?
I don't know. David really didn't have a whole lot to say about that, anything else. And I'm sure he didn't, I can't remember it. I want to say he had something else that he was going to add, but I can't remember what it was now.
So did that last batch go out already?
Yeah. I got mine. Yeah.
When did you get it? Just for curiosity.
I don't know. The week before Thanksgiving, maybe a little before that.
Okay. Yeah, I would have been hard pressed because I already had a lot of stuff set up. I should probably ask him if he has a spare board. I might even think about it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, the good thing is I'm only using, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm using 6 ports, off of it right now. Everything else is free if I wanted to use it for something else.
What's your maximum number of pixels that you're using on any port?
349.
Okay,
Wow.
so you're really not utilizing any more than what any other controller would have.
No, not. I mean, that's my longest run. My longest run is on the E682, and that's 500 for the Pixel tree, and I just put it on one output.
I would have liked to have done that because in multiple things, like I could have had my arches along with a couple other things, and I would have cut my cables like in half.
Yeah.
For how long I run them.
I tell you what, when Rob G comes out with a pre-sale for those darn null drivers, I'm going to buy me another sheet of them.
Well, the only thing
You
with
talk
those,
about those little 2811 boards?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got to get me a batch of them.
yeah. I've used those things. Yeah, I haven't used all. I mean, I bought 20 of them, so I've only used like 4 of them.
Lord,
You know
I
what?
could have used some last night.
what would really be nice if someone built some boards for those Max 486s instead of me having to solder one by one, just to pop a chip in there, solder it, and then 3 wires in, 4 wires out, done.
Download a circuit board software program. It's not hard.
Yeah, I know, but it's already too late in the year,
Yeah.
and I wish someone would just, I'd give them the idea and have someone else that has the connections, where you can just go and mass produce it for a reasonable price instead of going and etching 10 boards myself. I'd rather just go out and say, hey, for $1.50, I'll just buy them,
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be DIY. It wouldn't be fun then.
Well, that's true. That's why I do it myself, But I found out I spent way the hell too much time, especially when I was going and doing a dual cable, because it's like, well, my soldering skills are mediocre at best, even though I have a good soldering station.
It comes with practice. How long have you been soldering?
It's like, I don't have the patience for it, I guess.
Right. How long have you been soldering?
Since I was a teenager, but
okay.
But that was with a soldering pencil where you can't control anything. I just bought what I have right now about 3 months ago. So now I dial in the temperature I want, and it's night and day difference. It's like before it would be like you'd start heating something up and the tip would get cooler, and then it wouldn't work for crap.
Yeah.
Now I set my temperature depending upon how thick. If I'm doing wires, I'll set it at like about 635 degrees, or if I'm just working on chips, about just over 600 degrees, and you don't have to worry about frying chips, and it works real nice. And I just had a hard time justifying $100 just to go and buy that, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I learned to solder model airplane, electric airplanes.
As I keep building on this stuff, I'm prototyping it, and it'll get better. But you look at what I have now, and you're sort of like, really? But it's like you come up with the idea, and then it's like, well, it's already built, so why should I improve on it? Take it apart and rebuild it to make it look nicer. It works, So you start out with stuff that looks so, and then I'm assuming every year that I'll be doing this, it'll be better and better and better to perfection. But I'm not going to spend as much money as some of these people. You look at these people that have, 40 or 60,000 pixels out there, and I'm like, well, are they made out of cash? This year, I'm going to probably have just under 2,000 pixels out.
How many?
About 2,000.
Okay. That's a pretty good amount.
I've got 1,400 deployed right now, so I have more to add.
Wow.
And well, just what you saw. And by the way, was that really visible? And when I was walking around, I couldn't really tell.
No, we couldn't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did it look halfway decent? So yeah, at least you got the whole idea what the whole front yard looked like.
Oh yeah, look good.
So it's like, for me, it's like I build it for other people to enjoy it, I guess. Plus, it's kind of fun when the speed limit in front of my house is 30 miles an hour, and when most people go through, it's closer to 40. So when they're doing 20 past my house, I know that they're enjoying the display.
Yeah. When you get them to slow down to the speed limit.
Below the speed limit, then I know. And almost right across the street, there's a school, and an entrance to the school, but it's a soccer field that they have to drive past. So people could actually turn and sit in the driveway there and watch it if they want. And I see a few people that actually do. They'll drive through, and you see the same car come back and then pull in there and sit for a few minutes. My show lasts about 7.5 minutes.
How many
And
songs did you do?
And I do have music that I could play with it. Except, well, if you're driving that fast, you're not going to hear it anyhow, even if I had a transmitter. So it doesn't make sense to put speakers out or a transmitter because, well, someone's music. I can give you an idea of what my music
Or their ringtone.
yeah, what my music would sound like if I had it on.
Yeah, just get a little old transmitter and just transmit it out there. See what happens. You might back up traffic for miles.
Yeah. Wizards.
I think that's a common theme. Like my speaker is a little loose.
Yeah, the girls wanted me to do some techno dance stuff, so I found a techno version of Jingle Bells and Last Christmas, and I got the Mega Tree sequence, but nothing else yet.
Why I had originally sequenced to the music, and then once I was outside watching it, I said, if you don't hear the music, it didn't make sense, and then it was too slow. Like one of the sequences, I have two sequences. One has 2001 theme.
Oh, man.
It would just slowly come up, the color, and then change. And I said, anyone that drives through is going to look and say, well, that's boring. I'm not going to watch it. So I said, well, I had to jazz it up because if you can't hear the music, well, what's the point? So I got a nice variety out there. At least every time a car drives by, they actually see a different show. So.
And you did yours in Vixen?
Yes.
How about you, Wolfie? I haven't. Who is this? Is that your username on DIY or?
Yes.
Okay. How's your setup going?
It's in the tub in the garage.
Oh no.
I'd planned to leave work early today and try to get my my Mega Tree up. Yeah, well, that didn't work out. I finally got out of work about 2:00, and by the time I got the damn thing assembled and all the guy wires cut and laid out, it was dark 30. I wasn't going to get out there and try to wrestle a 14-foot pole up in the air in the dark. But I got the star finished. Did a pixel test last night. I got a two song sequenced with the tree, and I tested it in Vixen running the tree in the basement, just all strung out on the floor. The tree, not me. So I got everything ready to, at least for the mega tree, to get set up. And got plans to put some frames around shutter and window on one side and a bay window on the other side, so it'll have three rectangles on either side of the front door, so it'll be nice and balanced. PVC lane in the driveway, ready to run through the chop saw and build that. Just focusing getting the mega tree done. I could put that up, and at least it'll look like I got something.
Right.
Because the neighbors all got their lights up. They're going, "Aren't you putting anything up this year?" Like, yeah. I'm working on it. Because usually the front yard's full of blow-ups.
And not the good kind, right?
No. Well, this is the first year trying to get something like this done. So, going through the steep learning curve. Irritating the forum inhabitants as much as I possibly can. In probably what seemed to be rather stupid questions.
No stupid questions. The only way you learn is to ask questions and do it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I tend to be a pretty self-supported guy. I tend to figure stuff out. I just need a little help every now and then. Just, okay, how does this work? And then I'll run with it.
Right. That's kind of how I am. I can muddle my way through.
Yep. When I first started this, I just logically assumed that each pixel probably had some sort of hex ID that, it knew itself, and I was trying to figure out, well, how does it know which pixel is which? Branch it in the middle, like for a snowflake. I was thinking the arms of a snowflake, and then soldering in and extending out branches normally, and no, you can't do that.
They do have a pixel now that does self-assign. It grabs its own channels. Well, permanently, like semi-permanently. So if like one pixel goes out, they don't all go out, type thing. Of course, I don't believe that.
No, not till I see it. But got a few ideas for Halloween. Already working on plans to control the fog machine and the 10-foot tall blow-up dragon that I got in the front yard. Or are you thinking about replacing all the lights in him with pixels?
I've got a talking pumpkin that I was thinking about
running a smoke machine out his mouth, and yeah.
Can y'all still hear me?
Oh, yeah. I got to find a fast switching UV source. I don't know if there's any UV LEDs that are bright enough to do what I currently do with the 8-foot long UV tubes for Halloween. Normally I light up the yard and sidewalk and driveway and everything. Usually about 540 watts of UV.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Why is that?
You guys were wondering what my circuit board looked like for that max 485. That's it.
Oh, I'll use the breadboard.
That's it. There's a chip in a socket.
It almost looks like a old 555 sitting there.
8 pin. There's.
Yep.
You notice there are no additional components. Nothing. Zero. That's the whole thing. That's my wiring diagram. There's nothing to it. Running off of my Alpha Pix.
What's the chip?
It's a Max 485.
Oh, so it is designed
What's
to do
that?
this. It is a chip specifically designed to do this.
Exactly. It's a transceiver chip. And then here's my cables going out the door.
That looks good.
And let's see if you can see this. Kind of goes behind my desk, but it's like I don't worry about how long the cables are at all. It's like, extra 20 feet, so what?
Looks like your stress is showing there, Roger. You're getting a beard.
I had to color it too, by the way. It was completely white. I could have been Santa Claus this year. But yeah, hunting season, you know.
Cool. So what was it with the UV tubes? What does the UV do?
I've got it set up to illuminate.
Is it just black light? Are you talking about just like a black light?
Yeah, the 8-foot long fluorescent tube black lights.
Yeah. You just lighten up the sidewalk or something?
I'm lighting up the sidewalk, the driveway, the front yard, and I found there's two colors of Crayola sidewalk chalk, the liquid sidewalk chalk that comes in the jugs.
Huh.
That they put on sale at the end of summer because they hadn't sold it all out yet. It fluoresces underneath the black light, and then I got foam cutouts out of sponges that I get the grandkids dipping bats and pumpkins and spiders, those sponges in that sidewalk chalk, and then stamping the sidewalk and the walkway up leading up to the house, and all that stuff glows at night in the UV. And of course, all the kids' outfits, anything that's fluorescent colored or white glows, and then the fog coming out of the fog machine also glows.
Huh.
So what I'd like to do is find a switchable, now that I'm into this controller stuff, I'd like to find a high output UV source that's programmable, so I can create like lighting effects, pulse it real fast to make it look like lightning.
Right. Yeah, I was looking in our Halloween store here locally, and they had I thought a floodlight basically. I don't know if it's dimmable or not, but it's I would guess it's got to be different than like a fluorescent tube that requires some startup time or whatever. But
right, yeah, the fluorescent tube would require about a half a second startup. So
yeah,
I could.
But don't they have UV LEDs now?
They do.
Yeah, I think they do.
But
I was thinking that I saw like a flood that may have been LED flood.
Yeah, I haven't seen any UV floods made. I mean, I've got a UV flashlight, so I know they have the LEDs.
Right.
How expensive they are, I have no idea.
Yeah. That's the next trick.
Right.
Yeah, I got like a 4-foot tube, I think. I totally forgot to put that out this year. Oh well. Yeah,
I have 1, 2, 3, 6 fixtures that have 2 8-foot long 40 watt tubes in them.
Wow.
Got 8 4-foot ones that I put on the like on the backside of trees and underneath the bushes and underneath the deck and everything. You know, I hid the fixtures, so it's just the whole area is painted with UV.
Oh, nice.
And then the I got a ghost blow up. He's made of white nylon, so he glows really intensely under the UV. It's just a cool effect. It's just different than what everybody else does.
Right, yeah. I didn't think about the that liquid. That would be cool to just do like down my sidewalk, do different things, and then have it glow in the dark. That would be cool.
Yep, and it'll wash away. I mean, it's water soluble, so next time it goes away.
I've got like the wall hangers or whatever that is. It was like 50 feet long, whatever. And I've got that going all the way down my garage. My front door opens up next to my garage, so my whole side of my garage has got that on it. That's got the glow in the dark stuff in it. But I just forgot to put the the UV light out there. That looks good anyway.
Find it here.
So have you got any RGB floods?
Yes, I have.
Oh, that's right. You said you had like a couple 30 watts. And
Yeah, I have 330 watts and 100 watt.
you got a 100-watt RGB flood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like a lot.
Yeah, I plugged that in the living room. And
In the living room?
Yeah, just to test it. Yeah, I was seeing spots for like 3 hours.
I was going to say, my goodness, that's a really bright
Yes.
100-watt.
Yeah, I was looking at hitting the.
That's not much for incandescent, but LED, man, that's a lot of power.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think the chip in there, I want to guess, it probably 2.5 inches square.
Wow.
It's a real high density.
Yeah. I've got just the holiday Coro floods, that are 10 3-pixel modules or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
They're not real bright, but they do the job, I guess. I need to go to those 30 watts. Everybody seems to like those, and they're a little bit more concentrated, I guess. So.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to put them up on the roof because I wanted to put one on each corner of the house diagonally and paint the roof with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to figure out how to mount them.
I use like a shingle clip, maybe. Just do like make an aluminum bracket, maybe, and stick it up underneath the shingles or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that clamp it to the gutter somehow.
Yep. That'd be cool.
I saw a video of someone going with like a painter's lamp and this running LED strips along the whole inside. And it looked like it was pretty bright.
I just put a link in chat to that sidewalk chalk paint that I was talking about, so you get an idea of the product. The blue and the green glow. The pink did not, which totally blew my mind.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, washable neon sidewalk paint. No kidding.
Yeah, and if you watch like Target, Walmart, places like that, near the end of the summer season, they'll start putting this stuff on sale for like $2-3 a box instead of like $13 for the box.
Right.
It comes down to about $1 a bottle.
And you're saying that one of them didn't really glow?
Yeah, the pink really didn't glow that much, but
Right.
the yellow, green, and the blue did.
Nice. So you're saying that you just like, put it in a bowl or something and then took the sponges and actually just dipped them and then.
Yeah, I got them from Michael's. They're sponge cutouts shaped like a pumpkin, and we have a spider, and they're already pre-cut to that shape. And you
just kind of walk along and
stamp. It's great activity for the kids to get out there and do.
Yeah, right. Here, kids, go for it.
How big of an area does that cover?
Huh?
How big of an area? Because it didn't look like those bottles were very big.
They're not. So remember, you're not painting an entire area; you're just stamping.
Okay.
It says eight fluid ounces.
Right.
So it's probably that's 8 fluid ounces each. So that's a fair amount then.
Yeah. You usually I'll use up the blue and the green in one package to do. I want to guess it's probably about a 12-foot walkway, and then another package to do in front of the house, which is another, I think, 24 feet. So, I mean, you're not painting the entire sidewalk. You're just putting stamps along,
Right.
like
Yeah.
footprints or whatever.
Right.
And they stamp the side of the mailbox and, side of the house. But what's going to wash off?
Right. Yeah.
Take a hose. All gone.
That's nice.
So, yeah, if you just watch for the sales. Like I said, they'll put them on sale for like, $2.99. So, it costs you about $1 a bottle.
Now, as the kids are like walking on that, does it start rubbing off?
No,
off
not really.
Stuff?
It definitely lasts the night without any problem. It's usually there for a couple of days.
Wolfie, do you have a first name?
Mike.
Mike?
Yes.
Just in case I come past your house, obviously I'll know which house it is.
Yeah.
Because I'll
If
be
you
out
start
there.
glowing, that's his house.
That's my house.
So I won't show up there and say, "Hey, is Wolfie there?"
Yeah.
Actually, it wouldn't be unheard of because at work they call me Wolfie. They don't call me Mike because at one time we had 7 Mikes there.
Okay.
Nice.
So everybody at work calls me Wolfie and has for 15 years. So,
Okay.
it's a nickname I've had for decades.
'Cause I do make it through there, and during the Christmas season, so it's like I'll probably just kind of look. Cause I have a general idea of where you are, so it's like I'll just have to kind of look down the block. It's like if I see this thing 16 foot tall, it's like
I bet that's it. Well, years ago, I want to say probably 20 years ago, I set up long before they had the controllers they have now. I set up a 30-foot tall tree made out of the poles that we used for our teepee in the front yard with it was probably a good 8-10 foot diameter star at the top. And back then it was just, strands running up the poles. And I hacked up the little cheap Chinese controllers. So, and ran those into SCR so it could drive a whole bunch of strings instead of just the little pieces that it did, and had that rotating, and you could see it from Layton Avenue.
wow.
So yeah, I'm no stranger to overkill.
I had built a matrix way back when out of incandescent bulbs and soldered all these individual, and I had an old Tandy color computer.
El Coco, yeah.
Yes.
I started on TRS-80s.
And I built a card, plugged it in there, and it drove all this. It ran off of a 12-volt battery charger. Since you could go with the pulsating power, and you could use triacs with that because of the pulsating DC.
Yep.
And the light bulbs were 2.5 volts, but you could run it on 6 volts because you were pulsing them.
Yep. Because you didn't have a full duty cycle.
Right. And it looked really nice at the time, and we're going back about 10 years ago. And all I would have to do is put all the diodes for that so I could, give it the XY coordinates. And it looked really cool. And I look back at how many hours I did of building that. I threw the damn thing out because once LEDs came out, it was like, really?
Yeah.
And the Coco went with it.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Oh.
Yeah, I got mental ideas for a matrix for the roof, but I'm not doing it this year. I just don't have time.
Well, the problem in Wisconsin doing that is it'll get snowed on.
Well, I have a pretty steep roof. It's
Okay.
one of the real high pitch roofs.
Okay.
And what I was going to do is I was going to take lengths of the galvanized pipe that runs the top of a chain link fence,
Okay.
and I was going to weld brackets onto that so that it sits right on top of the apex where of the shingles, where the roof comes to the point,
Okay.
so that I had that metal pole unobstructed on the top of it. The entire length of the apex of the roof, grounded obviously.
Yeah.
And then when it comes time to put up the matrix, I could throw 2 ropes up over and into the backyard and hoist the matrix up
Oh.
like a giant sheet.
Yep.
And it would glide, the ropes would glide up over that pole, and then I could just, make them fast in the backyard. And when it comes time to take them down, or I need to, get the snow off, I can cast the ropes loose and just slide the matrix down in the front. So I don't have to climb up there to put it up.
Yeah.
That's my plan for next year.
Okay. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't like going on those steep roofs.
No. I don't like going up there when the weather is good.
Yeah. It's like, well, the house that I had was on 32nd Street between Beecher and Grant. And just the roof, I wouldn't say it was, oh my God, steep, but it's like I wouldn't walk on it. But it was the house next to it. It's like if you accidentally were going to fall off the roof on one side, you just jump onto the neighbor's roof.
Well, I'm far enough away. I can't do that.
But on the other side, you couldn't.
Concrete on one side and trees on the other. It would hurt.
Yeah. But I hated the small yards out there.
Yeah.
I just kind of went out to Google Maps and I superimposed the lot I had in Milwaukee to what I have here. I could put 5 of those in my yard that I have today.
Yeah, I wish I had your yard.
It's like
seeing what I was seeing.
You get out of Milwaukee and you don't want to go back. My yard in Milwaukee was 30 feet wide by 128 feet long with an alley.
Oh. Yeah, see, my house in Florida has a nice long and it's a ranch house. So and it's a corner lot. So I have a nice long end yard to play with. So once I retire down there, I'll have plenty of room to expand.
Yeah. But once you have a yard, and of course this fall I didn't appreciate having a large yard because I have a lot of trees. And it was just like fall didn't end. It's like every day I could go, and I have one of those leaf sweepers, and every day just keep going and pile after pile after pile of leaves, to a point where I just got tired of burning them, and I just mulched them up, and I have this probably 8 foot around and 3.5 foot tall of mulch right now. It's like, okay, compost pile.
Nice.
So hopefully it does compost down over the winter.
How do I share my screen in this thing, or can I?
The middle bottom, it'll say we're share screen. Bottom of the screen, you should have invite participants, share screen, chat, record. Or maybe you have to have, actually, I think you have to have the cursor all the way down there to see that.
Well, I guess he ended.
You probably clicked on the wrong thing.
Apparently so. He must have clicked on leave meeting. So hopefully he'll come back.
He's my closest neighbor,
Yeah,
about 30 miles away.
that's not too bad.
Not to say, I would say in this community. My other neighbor's a little closer. I can yell to the next yard. So, David, how close are you to having your show ready?
I'm still looking at this weekend, hopefully, fingers crossed, and weather cooperates.
How much stuff do you have?
Well, I got to put my arches out, but that doesn't take but like, I don't know, maybe an hour realistically. It doesn't take long.
Now, do you have that translucent pipe, or did you do something like what I did?
Well, so for this year, I'm putting out my old arches, which are the 16-foot long wrapped incandescent style.
Okay.
But I do have the HDPE tube and 3 pixel strips that are going to replace those.
Okay.
But right now, I don't have those completely built yet. I have all the parts. I bought tubing to tie them together and the tubing clamps to clamp on there. So I'm going to build them just like Matt Johnson did. But I just haven't gotten to time to actually, cut the tube and feed it in and make all that stuff, Yeah. So we'll get to that. But this year I'm just going to put the old arches out for right now just to get going.
I saw the videos of that, and it's like, for me, how far I have my arches from the street, it actually would dim it down too much.
Right.
I'd have to put them, and I could put them close by the street, but as much as I don't worry about anyone stealing anything out of my front yard, if I put it right next to the street, I'd hate to see them just, grow feet and walk away.
Yeah, I mean, mine, I'm keeping them full size. The arches I have now are, they're 16 feet long. And so, they're 5 feet high off the ground and 12-foot span. So they're pretty big. But when you view it from far away, it doesn't seem like they're that big. And I like them to be bigger than they are than the smaller ones. So anyway, but they're only maybe 10 feet off the sidewalk, I guess. So they're fairly close to you. So I think the tube looks good.
Now mine are only about 30 inches high, and that's 10-foot PVC pipe bent.
Right.
So probably around 8 feet long and 30 inches high.
So you just cut your strip up to go across them?
It's 3 meters of pixels. So it's probably 6 inches shorter than what the 10 feet is.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Or 8 inches.
Yeah, I'm just going to use the full strip in one,
Yeah.
I mean, I bought just the 10-foot piece of it just to test it, and play with it and see if I like the look. And yeah, I put it by itself. I set it like kind of like you had. I put it along the face of it and just kind of used some tie wraps and kind of put it there and stood back. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really like that too much. It was just too, that look of the strip look I just didn't like. But so I went and put it inside, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks. I mean, to me, I like the way it looks a lot better. And you can still see the points of light, which is okay with me.
Yep.
Matt, had it so you couldn't even see the points of light at all. You didn't know where the light was. It was just in the tube,
Right.
And I don't know. It was too much for me to deal with that.
It depends upon the type of lights you're putting in there too. If you're going, like, I'm running the 30 pixels per meter.
Right, that's what I've got, 50/50s.
And some people go where you're running with 2811, so you have 3 per pixel, and that's more like your incans.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what mine is. It's 150 lights but 50 pixels. Yeah, so it's a little but the bar is only 2 inches, maybe. It's not too bad. But it's the same thing. I think it's 30 pixels per meter.
Yeah. But it's like it's nice when you want to have the effects of individually doing it, because mine I can individually do 90 pixels over the whole arch.
Right. Yeah.
And then like with Vixen, you can make the meteor effect. Whereas if you're 3 each, it doesn't look as good.
Yeah, I mean here I'm using 8 channels now, so I'm going from 8 to 50. I think I'm good.
Yep.
That's a huge difference, man.
But Incans do give a totally different effect than LED lights.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you wrap that up like that, I still like the look of that. But it's when you look at the back of the house and the meter is spinning like crazy, and you're like,
exactly.
Well, do I really like to watch that too?
Yeah. I'm slowly changing over to LEDs. I got one of my trees out there. I've got I don't know, I guess about 500 LEDs on it or something like that. My biggest tree, and so it's nice that you can link all the strings can just be end to end linked. No problem. I like that too. I don't have the rule of 3 going on.
Yeah.
But it's all right. Well, looks like Matt's back. That's good.
I was just looking
Again.
for the matrix that I have
Blue screen.
on the front, and I have a kilowatt meter going. So, and I don't leave my stuff on when the show's off. I turn the PC and everything off, but I have the kilowatt meter on the power strip that runs the power supply for that and the PC.
Right.
And for the last 3 days, I've used 1.12 kilowatts of power.
1.2 kilowatts. Kilowatts? Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
So it's costed me about 15 cents for the last 3 days just to run that matrix and the PC to go with it. So I'm like,
Yeah, I don't even want to put that meter on.
I haven't checked to see. Well, obviously, I have to add more lights in that, but it's pennies, with these LEDs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
if
I got
add-
somewhere around 40,000 incandescent, so I can pull a lot of power.
yeah, it's,
I got a whole sub panel, 50 amp sub panel just for Christmas lights.
wow.
Yeah,
Right.
eight circuits right now.
I've seen some videos of people that had all this in their garage, and it looked like about an 8-inch PVC pipe actually into the side of their garage, and it was solid orange extension cords coming out.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, the show looked really nice, but I'm like, I can't believe how much power you're pulling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got a lot going on here.
I mean, you probably have to have, 200 watt or 200 amp service to your house just for your Christmas lights.
Nah, I have a 200 amp service for the whole house, and it's a 50 amp sub panel. But when I checked everything, because I've got one of the clamp meters I put right around the main, and I was watching it as the show was going, and it pulls a lot of amps when at the end of a couple of the songs, and I turn like everything on. The arches are on, the mega tree is on, the spiral tree is on, the house is on, everything in the yard is just about all on one time. And it was pulling like 60 amps.
Okay.
But I mean, it averages out. When your song is playing, that's the only time when it actually pulls that much. Everything else is in the 30, 40 amp range at most.
Yeah.
And it's just briefly.
My neighbor's got the old C9 light bulbs, the nice big ones.
Yeah.
And I was giving him crap the other day because I said, the lights that you have there, all, the 1,400 bulbs that I have out in the front pull less power than what your little string around your house is
Right.
pulling.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that can't be. And I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
You know, people don't realize how much those old things. Well, I used to have a set of those on a Christmas tree, and you didn't want to touch one of those bulbs. You know, it's like you're gonna lose some skin.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
You know, so it's like, and I still have them up in the attic, but it's like, well, maybe one of these days when I just feel nostalgic, I'll probably pull them out and plug them in, but that's about it. Or go to Goodwill and buy some, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, hopefully some people will start posting some of their videos over the next week or so.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things. I work. I guess I get a show running, then I got to spend the next week working all the kinks out.
Yeah.
Seems like there's always something weird going on. I don't know.
You know, the one thing that's hard to do, though, is to try to video your stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I was out actually earlier, and I thought maybe my camcorder would do a better job, and it didn't do any better. I think my phone did a better job of getting the color than a regular camcorder did.
Yeah, camcorder's tough. You gotta. I mean, I haven't done this, but you're supposed to do a proper white balance check, and then set it to manual exposure and do all this kind of crap.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then and you got to get a manual focus. That's one that I've learned. Because if you do an autofocus, man, that thing is back and forth as the lights come on and off. It fights itself. So you definitely turn that off. But yeah, color wise, it is weird when you look at it with a natural eye and you look at it in the camera. It's definitely different, particularly when you get into, like, I use those RGB floods against the house. They show up much more prominent in the video than they do in person. It's just how the sensors work, I guess.
Don't forget to watch the show on ABC next week.
That's right. Yep. Great Christmas light fight.
Yep. I can't believe that they start filming that stuff in August.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You know, it's like,
I can't imagine what the neighbors feel like. They're looking over like, why is this guy decorating for Christmas in the middle of August? Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, but if you can get that $50,000, it's not as nuts as it appears.
That's right.
Although some of those you look at, I think they have their $50,000 already in their lights.
Yeah, I know, man. You almost have to spend that just to get on the show. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
It's like I look at it and say, I probably have $1,000 into my lights that are just out. And it's like, well, to see how much other people are putting into it, and this doesn't include your time. This is just material, you know? It's like, it's a very expensive hobby.
Yes, it is. Especially when you make the mistake that I made. I bought all those Technicolor pixels, and man, am I having a lot of trouble with those things. I've given them a good run, but I think I'm done with them. That just sucks, I got hundreds of dollars in freaking pixels. I'm just gonna throw to the wayside, I mean, I can try to use them, but then it's gonna have problems. I mean, what do you do with them?
Yeah,
such a shame. But oh well, I just gotta chalk it up and buy more.
Well, just like last year, I bought 1,000 pixels, the type to have the 50/50s on a little disc.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling us about that.
Yeah. Well, that was about $300 worth of them, and I never thought about
waterproof.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, it's like they're LEDs. What's water going to do to them, right?
Yeah, if water ever gets to those lines, like I've got some of those meteor tubes, and man, they're starting to corrode and stuff bad. Yep. As soon as you expose, I didn't think about it because I had them all hanging in the tree, and they started getting water collected inside them. So I said, well, I can fix that. I'll just drill a little hole in the bottom of all of them.
Yep.
That lets the water out, which is great. But now it also, allows condensation in. Well, they weren't sealed to begin with anyway. I should have just sealed them.
Yep.
But I don't know. But anyway, they're starting to look like they're starting to get corroded inside.
Yeah.
Corrosion.
I'm going to repurpose my lights. I'm going to staple them to the joists in my garage and put a little controller on them.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Hey, that's Matt, I think.
Nope, that's Wolfie.
Well, we hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Time Warner took a dump.
I heard that happened just recently.
Yeah. Had to reboot the cable modem.
Ah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Fun times.
Yay.
Well, if you had AT&T, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, right.
Well, I shouldn't say that because I have Time Warner also at the particular time. But it didn't go out here.
There. What I was trying to share the screen earlier was so I could throw up a picture of the house front yard so you guys can see. I just put it in chat. I don't want to try.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't want to risk it.
So nobody tried to shoot your deer out of the front yard, did they?
No.
The first thing I saw was, there's a deer.
No, it's concrete. They've been there for about 20 years.
Wow. No holes in the side of it then, huh?
There's a couple of pock marks where kids across the streets taking pellet guns to them.
Ah, no kidding. Yeah, that's a pretty small front yard. That's a lot. That's smaller than mine is, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty little.
But you're envious of Roger there, I guess.
Way.
He's got like a 70-foot front yard to get to his house, man.
And this is why I was trying on the forums to end up with a fairly tall but narrow mega tree, because I don't have, room for a nice fat wide one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you could do a narrow one.
That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna put it right in front of the door.
Right in front of the door?
Yeah, so that the base of it's on the walkway.
No kidding. Okay.
Not up on the steps, but on in the yard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But centered in front of the door.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the base will be on the concrete of the walkway path.
Right. Okay.
Wolfie, how close is you?
What kind of base you looking at? Like
Sidewalk.
Well, right now, no base. It's just going to rest on the concrete walkway.
No,
but next year, I think I'm going to put a jump pole up.
What's bad when you have stuff that's so close to like the sidewalk? I'm assuming you have a sidewalk in your front yard.
Yep.
Is someone could just reach out and grab it, and damage it.
Yeah. I mean, did you see that link that he posted, Ryder?
I didn't.
Oh, it's in the chat.
Take a look here.
You just click on his link and you'll see his house.
Is this the last? He's got a couple of them.
Yeah, it's the same one, I think.
It's the same one. I never saw the other one before Time Warner dumped, so I didn't know if you got it on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I see the water tower.
Yep.
You got enough room there.
Yeah.
At least, it's not right on the sidewalk where you'd have it.
Yep. Yeah, but put the stuff in the front yard. Then I was talking about putting those arches right along the sidewalk as a barrier.
Okay.
And then the net on the roof, and you can see how that pole would come into play along the apex of the roof.
Yep.
So I should be able to slide a net, a matrix, right up on the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of real estate to work with.
No, I paved the rest of it.
It's like I remember seeing some pictures of some people that put arches over their driveway.
Yeah, well, I have a
do that.
driveway wide enough for almost 3 cars there, because the city, I had a sailboat parked on the side of the driveway, and the city came by and said I can't park it on an unimproved surface, so I paved from the house to the lot line. Now I can park it any damn place I feel.
Oh, okay.
Take that, city.
Screw you, I'll park anywhere.
Sideways, frontways, backways, doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Sure.
So yeah, there's not a whole lot of
You
yard
got
left.
that big tree there to kind of breaks it up a little bit too, though.
Yep, and I was planning on next year wrapping like some hardware cloth around it and putting a little matrix on the tree.
Oh, nice.
Kind of wrapping it around the trunk.
Yeah. Well, you could just make like a frame or something, make a vertical matrix if you wanted. Just regular flat panel matrix.
Well, actually, I was looking at those P10 matrices because I was looking on the Aussie forums,
Mm-hmm.
putting a set of P10 matrices in that bay window
There you go.
inside.
Oh
So I
yeah.
wouldn't have to worry about waterproofing, so I could just mount them inside the bay,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and that would
cool.
be part of the display next year.
Yeah. So it's going to darken the inside, of course.
Oh, I have the blinds drawn anyway, so.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, with the bay window, that'll give me a three rectangle on one side, and then with the shutters and the bedroom window on the other side, that'll give me three rectangles on that side, so it'll be kind of balanced.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I don't know what else to do with it other than the arches. And if you guys got any ideas, let them sing.
I don't know. You have a very limited area to do stuff.
Yes, that's why I was trying to go vertical with a mega tree.
Yep. And you almost have to.
Yeah.
Well, I had seen pictures of someone that put arches on their roof, right at the gutter level. I was almost tempted to do that this year. And then I said, well, it's going to take away from the stars. So I didn't do that. It's like you want to accent stuff, but you don't want to take away. If you put too much stuff all together, it kind of like it's counterproductive,
Yeah, your eye will wander. There's no focal point.
Right. And even now, I have some inflatable stuff I want to put out in the yard. I haven't gotten around to it yet. But it's like, how much motivation do you have when you get home and it's dark out already,
Yeah. I got a lot of motivation. It's just dark.
Yeah. And, well, you saw how dark my front yard is. If I have the lights off, it's dark. I mean, I have to be very careful so I don't trip over any wires. It's like I don't see them.
Well, just out of the frame, it is a street light. So I have light, at least low level light there.
Yeah, I have a street light too, but it's like it's at the road, and my house is 85 feet off the road.
Oh, that's my entire lot.
It's nice having it, but it sure. Now my driveway is about 200 feet long. Well, when it snows, 200 feet is a lot, and I don't shovel it. Obviously, I have the plow blade on my yard tractor. So, but still, when it's time to shovel, I'm out there for, a good hour plus just pushing snow out of the way. So there's drawbacks to that.
Yes, there is.
It's like, well, I got used to having a small lot. It's, like I said, my old lot was only 30 feet wide and 128 feet, from the road to the alley. So I know what it's like to have a small lot, So in reality, you actually have, if you look at the width of what you have with your driveway and that, you have more than what I had probably.
Yeah.
So you can, but of course, what can you do with the driveway?
Not much. That's what I've been trying to figure out. Can I do something up over the top of it?
Well, you can put something on the garage.
Well, that's what I was going to do with the 100-watt flood.
Okay.
At least this year. I was going to paint the front of the garage with that, and then shoot the two of the smaller ones to wash the shingles.
Okay.
Which eventually, at some point, I hope will end up being covered with snow.
Well, once you put a matrix up, that's going to do a lot for you.
Right, and then I can do something else with the floods.
Yeah. course, I went cheap with mine. What I did is I just went with 1x2s and made a 3x8 foot, and I just used fencing, nailed it to that, and then I just zip tied the LEDs pixels to it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to do with that tree. You know, the hardware cloth, that quarter-inch by quarter-inch galvanized mesh.
Yep.
I was just going to flex that around the trunk, and then with some like 1x2s, with just like a screen door latch on the backside to latch it together.
Okay.
And then I can unlatch and then lay it flat and in the storage shed for off season.
Okay. Well, one of the things like we saw, I had my long runs.
Mm-hmm.
What I did was I bought those pixel strips from Holiday Coro, so I could space them every 3 inches, and I zip tied that onto 10-foot pieces of EMT, half-inch EMT pipe, so that it's all modular, and then you can put it away, and when it's time to bring it out, you just literally plug it all together. And that probably would be beautiful for your front yard, where you can just clip the thing together, and when it's time to put it away, just disassemble it and walk it into your garage, put it up in the rafter.
Yep. And about the only thing that I'm not going to be able to reuse for Halloween would be the pixel, would be the mega tree. It's like, well, that doesn't really scream Halloween.
Right. But that's what I liked about the mini trees. And the only reason I went with what I did was I saw someone that actually made this little bitty mini tree. He made the tree with 49 pixels, 7
Nice.
strands of 7, and it didn't look bad actually. I obviously went a little bit more than that. Mine are 98 pixels per mini tree, and it turns out pretty good, surprisingly.
Yeah, I was looking at. I don't remember where I saw them. I think they were square, kind of pyramid shaped, or were they octagon? I don't remember. Made out of coroplast.
Okay.
Where did I see those? They had a black base and then a white cone. So the LEDs were inside the coroplast.
Okay.
And you could use them as trees for Christmas, but I was also thinking you could paint them LED wise orange or purple for Halloween displays. They'd be generic enough for both.
Okay.
And I was thinking about getting maybe 4 or 6 of those and setting out in the yard. And if nothing else, I can take the cones off and put tombstone shapes on the base and reuse the base and pixel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, just a little imagination goes a long way. But you want to build your stuff so that it's usable for different times of the year.
Yeah.
So I thought about what I built for this year, and I said, well, these are all 10-foot sections. Well, that could be a mega tree too. It'll be a 9-foot mega tree. I just make it into a teepee. Boom, done.
Yep.
If I don't want to do it this way, and if I don't like it that way, I'll just cut all the zip ties off of it, and I'll put it onto something else. But this stuff comes from Japan or from China, so you don't want to move the stuff around too much because they do break. And you probably noticed by now that you can't go by the color of the wire anymore.
No, I found that out.
It's like you don't put white to white. Sometimes it's white to blue. The only thing I've found out that's consistent is red is red. I haven't seen them mess that one up.
Yet.
But some of the strings that I bought were completely white, so you really had to be careful what you were doing, or completely black.
Yeah, those are fun.
You have to be careful with it, but you save money. And in this hobby, it's like, well, you don't want to be spending an arm and a leg for this stuff because they fry. I mean, I think the kind of winters that we have, the cold, and then it warms up, it cools down, and electronics are affected by that.
Yeah, it could be moisture impregnation as well. Water getting into it and then freezing and thawing.
Yep, it's true. I found that out last year. Remember last December we had all that rain?
Yep.
And that's what fried a bunch of my stuff.
Oh.
Well, I shouldn't say a bunch. I was out every night with a soldering pencil, cutting pixels out and putting new ones in. It was to a point where I spent a bunch of money to go get waterproof ones for this year. So I was like, live and learn.
Yep.
But hopefully these last a lot longer.
Well, I bought that guy out from Minnesota, so I started.
Kind of a good deal on that?
I got it for $2,200.
Okay, so you laid down some cash.
Yeah, but I ended up with two P12 controllers, the three 30-watt floods, 100-watt flood, what should have been complete mega tree that I had to rewire.
Yeah.
Thousands of pixels.
Yeah.
Well, I added it up. It wasn't too bad. It probably would have run me about $3,500 if I bought the stuff retail. And a lot of the stuff he had never set out. He'd started to assemble some stuff. There's a couple candy canes. I have 4 of those candles, and there's a 6-foot Bethlehem star that I haven't even touched yet.
Well, if you look at the average price of a pixel, at a reasonable price is 35 cents a pixel.
Yep.
And you're talking a couple thousand, it adds up really quick.
Well, yeah. I mean, the mega tree alone has 1,200 pixels.
Yeah.
Because it's 24 strands of 50.
Yep.
So that's 1,200 pixels right there.
Yeah. It adds quick.
Yep.
And I just worry about, like, say, when you have these things, and someone had just posted too that they had I think they said it was a 20-foot mega tree, and their star, one strand went bad, and it was like 3 stripes on the star. He said, well, that's how for the season.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not going to take it down to fix it.
No. And that's bad because, like, if you have a pixel that goes bad, all of a sudden in your case, you limit it down to 2. So at most, you're going to have, hopefully that's all. But like the way I built some of my stuff, it's like there's a lot of stuff that runs after a possible pixel. So depending upon where a pixel goes bad, you might very well have 100 or 200 pixels after that are erratic or don't work at all.
Right. And that's the exact reason why I was looking at building a jump next year instead of just using standard water pipe. So
Okay.
if something does go wrong, I can lower the pole, fix it, and raise it back up again.
Now, one of the things that I did a couple of years ago is I had a painter's pole, one of those that you can extend out to 24 feet.
Yes.
And I just use regular LED lights. And I just, put stakes in the ground, and I ran it up about 16 feet. And it looked pretty nice all by itself. And then halfway up, I just ran lights around the circumference of it so that it would hold everything kind of in place.
All right.
Really nice. It was cheap. You couldn't do anything with it. They were just lit, but you could see it from, a block away. And I thought about still doing that this year because I've got so many LED lights now from past years. I'd go to Kmart at the end of the season and get like 280 lights for $14. And it's like, I've got all these lights. It's like, of course, when you have, RGB lights, it kind of blows them away, but it's like, it still would look nice just to throw off to the one side of the yard just to light it up.
Yep.
And I still might do that. I still have time. I haven't decided, but I'll see. If I'm going to do it, it'll be in the next weekend. And it's supposed to be nice out, so it's like, but I'll say I got a 50-50 odds of doing that.
I'm just curious, do you know where around here to pick up XLR connectors?
XLR connectors. What are those?
For DMX.
Okay. No, I don't.
You don't have a Radio Shack?
I didn't know Radio Shack was still alive.
There are a few Radio Shacks around.
They reduced down in our town, at least to maybe one or two, but they're still around.
All the ones I used to go to are closed and gone.
Oh,
I'd have to look.
There's still one in Oconomowoc, and there is one. I want to. What was it? Off of Silvernail. I thought that one might be still open yet.
Yeah, I'd have to go and Google it up because all four of them immediately around me are gone.
Yeah, because there's one in the Waukesha area, which wouldn't be too far from work for you.
No, it wouldn't.
So I thought the one that was right off of T. There's that Pick and Save that's there, right off of that, right by the airport.
Yep.
I thought there was one there. I thought that's one that was still open. It might not be though.
Oh, I'm sure they have a store locator.
Yeah, because there used to be one in Delafield, and they closed that one up.
Yeah.
But even when they were open, it was more they were selling cell phones.
Yeah, they got so commercialized. They got away from the Radio Shack part of Radio Shack.
I liked it better when it was Allied.
Yep.
yeah,
Going back a little ways.
exactly.
A little ways.
Yeah, now, you either you're going to be going to Mauser or DigiKey or, somewhere, and you're going to pay as much for the shipping as you are for the components you have to get.
Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't want to order a bunch of little stuff from Mauser right now. I'll just wait and save all the stuff up and do a bulk order.
Yeah.
And I can get more XLR connectors through them fairly easily. And then the little greenies I need to order a bunch of those as well.
I have ordered from Mauser and good quality stuff and reasonable prices.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But their shipping isn't cheap.
No, it isn't.
Because they're going to charge you $4 or $5 minimum to ship you, an 89-cent transistor.
Yep.
But if you order 500 of them, well, it's still $4 or $5.
Yeah.
Because they weigh nothing.
Yep.
But I have a EGC D2, which is a Ethernet to DMX. It's 2-channel, and it has RJ45s on output, and so I got to wire up from RJ45 to XLR connectors to start the chain for the floodlights.
Well, I think I'm going to drop off. I'm going to see if I can finish up my one thing that I have to get for my centerpiece, and let the silicone dry so I can possibly get it up for tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
And so if I sit here and talk, I'm going to lose that motivation. So well, hopefully we get to more people on the chat for next week. But like I say, it's crunch time for most people. So I'm surprised we even got as many people as we got on here tonight.
Yeah, I'm curious. Where's everybody at? I know me and Roger are here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, both Kevin and I are in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Ah,
He lives like a couple neighborhoods away, I guess, something like that.
You going to make it out here Friday night?
I'm going to plan to be there, man. Won't miss it.
Come with your technical hat because you know something will happen.
that and your soldering iron, right?
Yeah.
Need any audio cables? Or
Yeah, I got a brand new audio system, and I should have that worked out.
Sweet.
All right, guys, I'm gonna drop off of here too and end the discussion. So I guess we'll see everybody next week.
Sounds good.
All right,
Yeah.
We'll talk to y'all later.
Sounds good.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Have a good one.